Hey everyone, back with another What Sold video. Today I'm going to go over February sales as a very part-time reseller. I'm a little late because I had a wedding to go to between like February and March. So I think my sales are a little bit lower for both February and March, but hopefully I can get it back up there. I've also decided to go full country and I got a puppy for the first time, chicks for the first time, and also am trying to start a garden. So keeping myself very busy, but still trying not to fall behind on my Poshmark and eBay sales. But yes, so wish me luck with that. Drop any comments of any advice that you have for me to try and keep all of these animals and plants alive. With that said, let's jump right into it. So our first sale right here is an H&M women's burgundy double-breasted coat or a pea coat. This sold on February 3rd and it sold for $20 and my order earnings was $16. I was happy with this sale because this is actually my coat that I bought probably over 5 years ago. And I was glad to see that it would sell. And I think pea coats generally in like fall and winter do pretty well. I was getting at the tail end of winter. It's now spring, and so I think I got lucky with the sale. But just like my other videos, sell what you don't want anymore, and you can probably get a little bit for it. This one is a Uniqlo woman's ultra stretch skirt. Um, this one I actually bought from the Uniqlo store because it was very much on sale in Hawaii. And this was something that I wanted to try to arbitrage, and it did okay. This one sold pretty quickly. It sold on February 3rd, I want to say uh, probably less than a month. And for $20. So my order earnings was $16. My cost of goods was $10 and my net profit was $6. So it's not a huge net profit, but I was surprised at how quickly it did sell. I got one other skirt that I think sold in April, or not April. Oh yeah, either March or April. That sold, I think, for like the same price, so the same profit or similar profit at least. Would I do it again? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if it's worth that um, just for a $6 profit, but it was only $10. I was on very much sale, and I think it retailed for a lot higher. Like it was selling for $40, so that's why I decided to take a chance on this one. This one is an Express Women's gingham plaid shirt. It is a blouse. It sold on February 3rd for $10. My order earnings was $7.05. I initially thought I would try this on. I didn't actually like it. And so I don't remember exactly what I paid for it, but I counted it as a $3 cost of goods. And so my net profit was $4.05 on this one. I think gingham plaid. Is that how you say it? Gingham plaid? Whatever. I think it was trending at one time. I'm not sure. This one actually sat a really long time, so I'm not sure about this particular style. But I know at certain points it did do well. I'm not sure about now. But I was happy to uh, basically get rid of this one. Next one is a J. Crew women's long sleeve cotton poplin pajama set. I was really excited about this one because there was a stain on it and I was able to get it out pretty well. Um, and I think both of them costed together $11, and so I thought it would do pretty good. It actually sat for quite a while, so you can see from October till February. So what is that, like 4-ish months? It sat for a while, but also I think I priced it really high, so that was kind of what kind of had it sitting there a while because there was a lot of interest on this one. But eventually it did sell for on February 3rd for $38. My order earnings was $29.69. My cost of goods was $11. And my net profit was $18.69. So not a bad profit, but it did sit there for quite a while. This one is a And Other Stories women's crew neck. I looked it up and I think it's like sold at Nordstrom's or something, and that's kind of why I decided to get it. This one I actually got from Whatnot. I was trying to source a little bit from Whatnot to see. Um, I know some people can get some good deals there and flip it. So this one I just kind of, I think this is one of my first or second try at Whatnot. And so this one sold on February 5th for $22. So my order earnings was $17.60. And my cost of goods was $6. So I profited $11.60 from this, um, sourcing it from Whatnot. So I will put a link in the description for a Whatnot code. You can get a range of money from for signing up with the code, and I think I get some probably as well. But it's an interesting thing there. Do some research before you actually go and buy stuff from there, because you can get easily carried away with things. Um, but I've been able to sell a few things from there. Not all of them a lot of profit, but I do wish the first time that I did buy on Whatnot, I was like confused at what was going on and where my receipt was and how I'm gonna get things and stuff. So it can be a little confusing, but once you get into it and you know what's going on, then it can be a good place to source. So in any case, um, here is a Nike MJ Dry Fit Kids shirt. This one I think I bought at a yard sale, and I don't remember exactly, but I think it costed $2 at the yard sale. And so I just thought it was kind of a unique uh, piece, which is why I got it. I didn't research it or anything before I picked it up. But I know that some Nike stuff can do pretty well if they're unique enough. So I thought this one, oh, is probably unique. So, but it ended up sitting for a long time. I think probably over 5 months. And it sold on February 5th for $13. My order earnings was 10.05, and with the $2 cost of good, um, I'm saying my net profit is $8.05. So not a great flip, especially when it sat for so long and not too much money, but you live and you learn. Next up is a Rip Curl beanie that sold on February 6th for $10. My order earnings was $7.05. My cost of goods was $2.82, and my net profit was $4.23. So this is actually a beanie that my friend had given. If you've seen my other What Sold videos, my friend had given me a bag of clothes. And so if it's under $25, I'm giving her 40% of the earnings. And so that's where the 282 came from. Usually my cost of goods, I will round to the nearest whole dollar, but since this one I actually have to pay her, I actually have the exact amount that I paid her for this. So nothing too much to note there. This is a Prana Woman's Cohen jogger. This sold on February 6th for $38. My order earnings was $30.40. My cost of goods was $6, and my net profit was $24.40. So this one I believe also was on Whatnot. And so you can see here in this case, I did profit quite a bit, $24, quite a bit for me. I don't know that if you'd ask other resellers if that's quite a bit, but that seemed like a good amount for me. And I was pretty happy with this one. I didn't have super high expectations. I had a Piranha dress that I bought from a thrift store, and it's still sitting in my store. So I wasn't sure, but I think joggers generally is pretty trendy. I bought some joggers in a lot of other brands, and they tend to do pretty well. Um, and so yeah, I think this one was a pretty good one that I got from Whatnot. So like I said, I'll link it down in the comments. This one is Packed. It's a new tag, Packed women's on the go to pocket leggings. So this one sold on February 10th for $34.11. Order earnings was $28.02, and my cost of goods was $24 with a net profit of $4.02. So This one I actually also tried to arbitrage. I did it last year from Pact with pretty good results. But this year I tried it with some leggings and some dresses, and it has not been doing as well as I thought. And that could be also because so the last time I did joggers and skirts, and I think, like I mentioned in the Piranha listing, joggers do pretty well, I think, in a lot of different brands. And so I think the joggers really helped me out last year, whereas the leggings are not as popular. And so I've gotten some interest, but much lower price offers where I would lose money. And so I would not necessarily recommend this. I think you have to do a lot more research to see what works well because, like I said, last year it did work well with the joggers and skirts, but the leggings and the dress, just not so much. But in any case, I am glad this one sold, and I am glad that I didn't lose any money on it. I'm still sitting on a few. So, again, live and you learn. This is a cotton on body woman's sweater. This is a zip sweater. I got it on sale at Cotton On at the mall. So I have nothing into it except for because it was mine. So, but it sold for $6.21. My order earnings was $4.04. So that was my net profit. This one, I liked the sweater just because it was a basic. But I just didn't like that it had pockets. Otherwise, I probably would have kept this sweater. Nothing, no good information as a reseller. I don't know a whole lot about this brand as a reseller, but just why I bought it and why I sold it, really. This one was a great sale. This was Hunter Boots. It sold on February 11th for $74.90. My order earnings was $66.29. Cost of goods was $14, and my net profit was $52.29, which is really, really great. This is probably my highest profit all month. This one actually I got at a thrift store. I think I went with my parents when they visited, and my dad pulled out these boots, and I was like, yeah. I didn't know how well they resold, but I knew that they were pretty popular and that it was in pretty good condition, except for maybe some small things like that, but otherwise in pretty decent condition. And so I thought I've never tried to sell hunter boots, and so I thought I'd give it a try, and it turned out to be do really well. And I'm not entirely sure why, because there were a lot of boots in red in this size available. And so I was not sure that it would sell, but this one sold very, very quickly. Um, Within like a day or two, started, yeah, February 10th. It sold on February 11th. And for that big profit, I was very, very pleased. Again, I'm not sure why it sold, but glad that it did. It might be just that it was in really great condition, because, like I said, there were a lot available for women's in this size. So, but anyway, happy for this sale. This is a Taylor Swift Life of a Showgirl, the glamorous cabaret version. This one also was something that I tried to arbitrage. I think I got it last year in October. Yeah, I posted it on in October. I tried to get a couple things that were limited time from Taylor Swift, and it hasn't been working out super great. I'm not sure. Yeah, I haven't totally figured out some things. I think I sold one of her cardigan boxes, and I did profit quite a bit off of one, and I profited very minimally off of another, and I'm still sitting on a couple more. So I have a lot more into these products. I still have, I want to say, like 7 other CDs of hers and some vinyls as well that haven't really sold. I'm pricing it very high, so that's probably part of my issue. Another part of my issue, I think, is that it was so recent, and also she puts out a lot of merchandise. And so I think maybe it gets lost in the crowd. So I'm kind of curious to see maybe like decades down the road if this will like be worth it, like for collector's items. I'm not really sure. But for right now, I don't have any good information for you to try and arbitrage Taylor Swift items. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm very successful at it personally. So if you guys know anything, please let me know. Okay, so this one is a Volcom women's plaid flannel button-up. It sold on February 15th. And it sold pretty quickly. I priced it very low. This was also part of the bag of clothes that my friend gave me, so I gave her some profit from it. It wasn't a lot. It sold for $4.85. My order earnings was $4.64, and my cost of goods was $1.85, which is what I gave her. So my net profit was $2.79. You can see there is a lot of wear on it, which is why I priced it so low. I almost considered not posting it, but I was like, you know what? She gave it to me. I'm gonna try and just see if I can sell it so I can get her something for it. Um, and I did, not a lot, but it keeps it out of the trash. And so I think that I was lucky that this one sold. I'm not really sure. You could see there's like some pilling there and stuff, so it was very worn, but yeah, so at least it's out of the landfill. Hopefully the person is still using it. And yeah, nothing too much to note on that. This one is a North Face baby reversible burrito hooded jacket. I maybe pronounced that wrong. But this one I also tried to arbitrage. So that's the theme of this video. Last video was all of my old clothes from the closet. This video is items that I tried to arbitrage. And so this one I bought at the North Face outlet. Um, for $25. It was on sale because we're running out of the season. And so I thought, well, let me try to buy it and sell it. I tried to post it quickly because we were getting out of the season. Now we're fully into spring. So I have a few others that are puffer jackets and puffer suits for kids. But I don't think they're going to sell because we're heading into summer at this point. So it'll be interesting to see how they sell next year. I think they will do pretty good. It depends if you want to keep your money tied up in items like this when you arbitrage, because $25 is kind of a lot for cost of goods when you're doing reselling. A lot of times people have it like less than $5, less than $10. So it is a lot of money to tie up in it. It sold for $40. My order earnings was $32.42. Like I said before, my cost of goods is $25. And so my net profit was $7.42. So not a huge profit, but I was also willing to sell lower because I knew we were moving out of the season. So I thought if I could get at least some money back now, then maybe it won't be as bad for my other ones to sit. So uh, we will see in the winter how this does. If you stay tuned, then maybe you'll see what the other ones sell for and how they do. But yeah, so I think it just depends on your business model if you want to try something like this, because it is a lot of money that you're sinking into it to sit on. The next one is this Pole women's oversized balloon sleeve sweater. This one I found at a thrift store. I mainly got it because I thought it was very unique. I looked it up and it looked like it was like a wholesaler that sold this. I'm not sure. Someone can correct me if I am wrong, but I didn't see like too much. I just saw different stores that sell this. So I think it's more of a wholesaler type thing, but it's a pretty cute sweater. And just like the other ones, we were getting out of the season. So I wanted to hurry up and get this listed. This one sold on February 17th. It actually sold very quickly for $20. My order earnings was $16. My cost of goods was $8. So I profited $8. I actually had this listed a lot higher, but I accepted in my opinion, pretty low offer just because we are going out of the sweater season. And so I just kind of wanted to get it moved and I got a net profit with it. So I'm okay with that. I probably could have got more if I had waited, but I'm glad to at least get my money back more quickly and then some. My next sale was a Lululemon bra. It sold on February 18th for $20. My order earnings was $16. My cost of goods was $7, and my net profit was $9. This one I bought at Hawaii Goodwill. I spoke with the employee, and he said they almost never have Lululemon out in the store. They pretty much sell all of it online on their online store. So he thought it was pretty good that I found this um, in the store. He was glad for me. I actually um, yeah, so I'm kind of glad for it. It sat a little bit longer than I expected. For $9 profit for a bra, that's not terrible. Not usually the spread I'm looking for, but it's still pretty good. I know Lululemon can be oversaturated in certain things, so you can't always get a good amount, but I decided to give this one a try just because it looked like it was in good condition, and I haven't seen a lot of Lululemon sports bras. So anyway, this one is a new day, olive green knit tank top. This one also was part of my friend's bag of clothes that she gave me. So this one sold for $10. Order earnings was $7.05. Cost of goods was $2.82, which is what I gave her, and my net profit was uh, $4.23. So nothing special, but it did sell. This is a sanctuary vest. I think this one, I believe when I looked it up, this brand sold at Nordstrom. And this one was very lightweight, so that's part of why I bought it. Another part of why I bought it was because I wanted to try it on for myself. This one I actually got at the Goodwill bins, and so it was a very cheap cost of goods for this one because it was pretty lightweight vest as well. And so this one sold for $25. My order earnings was $20. My cost of goods was $2. So when I go to the bins or even the Goodwill store, I will, as I mentioned earlier in the video, round up or down. And so this one I rounded up to $2. So my net profit was $18 on this one. So I think that one was a pretty good flip from the bins. This is a Linea Donatello woman's red black lace slip dress. I initially got this, I don't even remember where, maybe a thrift store, I'm not sure. And I don't even remember how much I paid for it, but I thought it leaned into like the romantic vamp goth style. And so you can see I put that in the title, but people just may not be like looking for it, or it could be the size also. I'm not really entirely sure. I thought this one would do really well. I initially had it priced very high, but I think I had to repost it multiple times and it finally sold. Not for much. So it sold for $9. Order earnings was $6.59. I think I got this maybe, I have it written as $1, but I'm not confident on that. I could have paid more. But so my net profit is $5.59 on this one. So not necessarily something I would recommend. This one was kind of interesting. This is a Denizen from Levi's skinny jeans. These are actually mine that I decided to sell. And so when it's my clothes and I know it's a little bit older, I'm willing to sell it for a lot lower. And so this one sold on February 21st for $8.90. I don't know what my order earnings was because it kind of got lost in transit. And so I was talking with the customer about this one, and um, she basically, I was trying to figure out how to like get her refunded from eBay because it was the mail delivery's fault. But I couldn't figure it out, so ultimately I just refunded her with my funds to get the full amount of money back. And then she actually received it at some point, and then she messaged me and she still wanted to pay me. So she actually sent me a check for this one. So my order earnings came out to be $21.74 because she wanted to pay me, which I thought was so super nice of her. So, because she really wanted to pay me, so she mailed the check. So I was able to keep basically everything that she paid for this one, and she liked it. So I'm really glad that again this stayed out of the landfill and that someone loves it and can use it. So that was kind of an interesting story. This one was actually also kind of interesting. This one retails for a lot. This is a Tiger Mist sofa maxi dress. It actually comes with a little like sweater to go over it, but I couldn't find it. I got this at the thrift store, and so, but I couldn't find the actual top, so I just sold the dress. And it's sold on February 22nd for $37.40, which I believe was an offer because I think I had it listed higher. Order earnings was 28.62. Um, my cost of goods was $13. I got this at a Goodwill in Hawaii as well when I was on vacation, and my net profit was $15.62. I think I probably could have got more for this one if I had waited, but within, what is that, like less than 30 days, and especially with more expensive things, I just thought I would accept it. This one, I think when I looked it up, I think it retails for over $100, this brand. And I also looked at, there were other dresses that were this style and the same size. And so that's kind of why, too, I was willing to accept lower because I knew there were other options available for this dress. So this is the first time I've heard of this brand. I'm not really sure how well it does as a whole, but I was pretty happy with the sale. It wasn't my normal $20 profit that I usually shoot for, but it sold relatively quickly and I profited like $15. So um, not bad, not bad. And this is the last sale of the month. This is also a part of my friend's bag of clothes she gave to me. This is a Vans, um, just a basic core cuff beanie. And so this one sold on February 26th for $10. Order earnings was $7.69, and cost of goods is what I paid her, which is $3.07. So my net profit was $4.62. Nothing really to note in this other than that it was going out of season, and so I was willing to accept less. I also think that this one sold when I was on vacation. So this was like one of the first days that I started to go on vacation. And so like my Poshmark was all turned off. eBay was put out until I came back. And so I was glad that I even sold anything while I was on vacation. But with that said, everything that I went over today is what sold for me in February. And so adding up all the net profits from all the different items, I came out with a total of $257.94. So, and that's taking into account that Denizen from Levi's skinny jeans. I did add the $21.74 as profit. So if you take that out, because that only came through, I think, in April, but if you take that out, probably it's more along the lines of 240. So February is already a shorter month. I think people are spending less, or they're starting to ramp up spending because after Christmas, I think it dips a little bit, and then now they're starting to slowly spend a little more in February. But I think actually March and April is, I believe, um, things sell more. There's more things on sale retail. And so I think people are just shopping more. My March sales were a lot better than my February sales, and I was still out. I think I was out maybe like 5 days in February, and I was out like over a week in March. And so, and my March sales still beat out my February sales. So, um, with that said, if you're interested in seeing my March sales, I do have it queued up. So I'm hoping to get this one out sooner than I did with February. I don't have vacations planned, and I'm starting to get in the hang of taking care of puppies and chicks. So hopefully I can get the March one out sooner. But if you are interested, please feel free to subscribe, and I will drop it as soon as I can get it videoed. And with that, thank you so much for watching my video, and until next time, bye.